from the Gothamist. From the Gothamist. So, New York City paid $200 million to settle police misconduct lawsuits in 2024, according to a report. So while they're telling us in New York and California and everything else, they don't have money for reparations, they do have money for bad cops. Let's get into the story here from Gothamist, man. Let's get into the story here. Let's get into the story here. The city paid more than $200 million to settle police misconduct lawsuits in 2024, the most since at least 2018. According to a legal aid analysis, the 2024 figure is also $89 million. Is also $89 million more than the city paid out in 2023. The analysis finds. So wow. So basically, once again, while they're telling you they ain't got money for healthcare, they ain't got money to help you with daycare, they ain't got money to help you with groceries, they ain't got money to try to lower inflation, they ain't got money to help you out with anything, they do have money to pay out for bad cops when cops mess up, when cops commit crimes, they touch women, they touch children, they're child predators, they're predators in general. They falsely arrest people. They arrest people with freaking no cause. They arrest people based on freaking skin color. They discriminate. Whenever they mess up, they commit crimes. You pay for it, right? But they tell you there's no money for your health care. Well, your health care money, if you live in New York, this is where it's going to. If you're wondering why it is so hard for you to make ends meet, it's because you are being taxed through the nose in New York City because they got to find some kind of money to pay out for all these police misconduct settlements. Instead of them actually fixing the cops, they would rather you have to provide the cops welfare. The biggest welfare queens in New York City are the cops. Their equipment is paid for, salaries, and when they mess up, when they commit crimes, they don't even pay the freaking police misconduct settlement. You do. They are the biggest welfare queens in this country. Bar none. Bar none. The payouts covered 953 police misconduct lawsuits, including major payments to a number of people who were wrongfully convicted of crimes years ago. So when these cops go out and they falsely arrest people, or they have absolutely no evidence, or they just want to arrest someone just to basically close a case, or they just want to pin something on somebody, right? When they do that, they're not the ones who pay for it. You pay for it. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Whereas someone else goes out and they commit a crime, and oftentimes they're not even sent to jail for it. It's rare for a cop to actually go to jail when it's even certain, even when they are convicted in the court of law, right? It is rare for them to actually see jail time for any offense. For any offense. And you'd be surprised in some of the offenses that I'm talking about. Almost 40% of them who are convicted of having CSAM material, who are predators, almost 40% of them never see jail time. Never go to prison. That is an actual stat out there right now. A lot of people don't know that, but that's actually true. In total, the city paid out $205.6 million, according to the legal advocacy nonprofit. That's nearly 3 times the $77 million it will cost the city to put increased police patrols in the subway for 3 months. Wow. Quote, the staggering payout totals for 2024 prove that the city would that the city would rather spend tens of millions in taxpayer dollars each year than take decisive action to dismantle the culture of impunity within the NYPD that allows this gross misconduct to persist, end quote. According to Amanda Jack, a policy director at Legal Aid, is what you said in a freaking statement, man. That is a mouthful, though. That's a mouthful, man. Mind you, I didn't read this article. I just brought it up before I started the actual live stream. I went and I Googled. I brought it up, but I didn't actually read through it. Notice how I just said what I said about they would rather just pay out stuff than to actually fix things. And notice how she just said that. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I want you to hear some of the excuses that they gave to, man. Legal aid used data published by the city in its own in its own analysis. A law passed in 2017 requires the law department to publish data related to civil actions alleging, quote, misconduct comments against the police department, end quote. Quote, misconduct comments against the police department, end quote, twice per year. So twice per year, the law department in New York, they have to actually post this stuff. It's actually a law. But here's the excuse that the NYPD gave. A spokesperson for the NYPD said the payouts related to police misconduct as well as prosecutorial misconduct. Oh, so they're throwing the prosecutors under the bus. So the prosecutors are giving bad information by the police. The police lie to them, and then things are overturned when the prosecutor doesn't have all the information. Now, there are some bad prosecutors, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times it's the cops who provide bad information, or the cops are actually racist. So they're kind of throwing the prosecutors under the bus there, but honestly, to be honest with you, I'm not going to defend the prosecutors because they are kind of dirty too, you know? Just saying, but what I'm saying is there's levels to this, man. And the police are at the top level. The spokesperson said 64% of the cases were for wrongful convictions. Yes, because you wrongfully arrested someone, including... Get this. I gotta take a swig real quick. Get this. Including 53% from wrongful convictions more than 20 years ago. So you're trying to defend the NYPD as an NYPD spokesperson, and yet your department has been so dirty that you're saying that 53%, all right, a little less than half, which means the other half is from recent, within 20 years, right? I mean, some of the people who might have falsely arrested these freaking people may still work for you. But you're saying that a little less than half, if you're saying 53%, a little less than half of those, right, were from within 20 years. And you're saying a little more than half of them from 20 years ago, or a little bit more than 20 years ago. Bottom line is what that would prove is a consistent pattern of false arrest and false convictions. Right? Right? But let's read the final sentence here. Settlements in wrongful conviction suits last year drove up the total payout figure according to the numbers. But still, like I just said, a little less than half of those were within 20 years and could have been happening by it could have been perpetrated by some of the same officers who are now in leadership positions who still work for the NYPD. Lord have mercy. Lord, they tried to defend themselves and made themselves look worse in the process. Oh my Lord. Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious.